welcome to the Felicity Yarn Studio channel. If you're new here, my name is Zoe. A big welcome. This is where I like to share all of my yarny making. So for me, that is mainly knitting, spinning, crochet, and I also dye yarn. So I have an Etsy shop that is also called Felicity Yarn Studio. You can find links to everything down below in the description box, and I'll put all my social media information on the screen if you're interested in following along there. So yeah, we have quite a lot of new faces around, so a big welcome to all of my new subscribers. And I thought I might do a little quick introduction of myself. Again, my name is Zoe. I live in the foothills of North Carolina, kind of in between Charlotte and Asheville, so it's kind of like a quick little drive to either one of those. I live here with my partner and our 2 cats. We have been out here for about 3 years. We came from the East Coast and we just really love the scenery and the vibe out here. It is very chill and very beautiful. I have been knitting for, I don't know, probably 12, 13 years now. I famously learned how to knit from my sister, my younger sister, Naomi. She is the yarn curator. She also has a channel here on YouTube if you're interested in checking her out. I kind of self-taught myself some crochet. That's why I'm not a huge crocheter, but I still like to, you know, make something when it catches my eye. And I've been spinning for, I think October this year will make 2 years that I've been spinning. So I don't know what else to cover really, other than I am very happy to have you guys here with me today. I am going to be doing the 500 subscriber giveaway at the end of the video. So I have pulled these 2 skeins from my own stash. This is from Spectrum Fibre, and this is in the colorway Canary, and it's this really beautiful bright speckly kind of neon yarn. It is on a sock base, so it's 80/20 superwash merino nylon blend. It's a high twist base. It's one of my favorites. This is one of my favorite dyers, so I wanted to pull something that I love for the giveaway. So yeah, I'll put the prompt at the end of the video to let you know how to enter to win these 2 skeins of yarn. Now, I think a lot of you guys found me via the new pattern, the Seaglass tee. This, I guess technically it could be considered my first finished object because I have not actually talked about this on a podcast episode. That's because I made my FO feature video where I went through all of the details about this garment and my experiences with test knitting this. But for those of you who haven't seen it, this is the Seaglass tee. This is a pattern by Wool and Pine. This is like my new favorite thing. I absolutely love this top. I still have a few ends to deal with here, but this is a top-down design, 1x1 all over color work, and you're changing both strands of yarn on each row. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this. I just have 2 things that I wanted to mention about this. One thing I forgot to mention and one thing I didn't know at the time when I recorded that. But I was thinking about this pattern, and when I was knitting it up, I was thinking it would be a really great use of the gradient schemes. It reminded me of this scarf pattern that I knit way back when, and if I was better prepared, I would have had it here to show you. But I'll find a picture of it and I'll leave it in the description below, but you use 2 gradient skeins and you knit like 2 rows with each one and stripe them, but because they're both gradients, they're both gradually changing colors as you knit them together, and I think that would actually be kind of a neat use for a sweater like this. Or I also think that using a fractal spun yarn, if you're a spinner, or like Spin Cycle yarns, their yarn is milled and spun in a fractal ply spin. We're not big on technical terms here, but the way that those yarns, the way that they're spun up and the way that they kind of gradually change color, I think you could hold one strand of that fractal spin with maybe changing only one color each round, or, you know, changing as many as you want. So as I was thinking about all of that, the other thing that I wanted to mention, Selena, who is one half of Dank Fibre, she contacted me and they're looking for, I was going to say test knitters, but it's a crochet version of this. So I guess test crocheters. She was looking for testers for the crochet version that they're getting ready to release, I think in August, of this design. So I was really tempted to test the crochet version, but my schedule just won't allow for it, and I'm not going to put undue pressure on myself right now. But I do plan on crocheting a version of this when that comes out. So I highly recommend. This pattern was so much fun. It's a great scrap buster, stash buster. Go check that out. I know that a lot of people have jumped on the bandwagon. There's a lot of gorgeous palettes and versions if you follow the Seaglass tea hashtag on Instagram as well. So moving right along for my next finished object. I actually don't have it here with me because it was a gift for my nephew who had his first birthday a couple of weeks ago. So we went to go to his birthday party. I made him this absolutely adorable little crochet puppy dog, Lovey. The official pattern name is Puppy Dog Granny Hexagon Lovey, and this is by Crochet at Teri's. So this was a very clever design where you crochet, you actually crochet 2 hexagons and then you fold them in a way to make like an L shape, and you stitch them together to make the body of the puppy, and then you crochet the head and the 4 paws and some ears and a tail. So this worked up super quick. I used Impeccable yarn by Loops and Thread in these 2 colorways. This one is chocolate and I think this one is soft taupe is the name. This is like a DK or worsted weight 100% acrylic yarn that I picked up for this project, and I just used the recommended hook size on here, a 5mm hook. I'm not sure what the pattern calls for. I think it was a DK weight yarn. But I mean, it's not like gauge is important on something like that. But yeah, this worked up super quickly. Again, I'm not a huge crocheter, especially not from patterns. Like I can do granny stripes, I can do granny squares, I can like crochet in a circle, but trying to like read crochet instructions and decipher them and like read in the work where I'm supposed to be crocheting isn't my strong suit. But I am making it a point to try to crochet more and get more crochet literate. So this pattern was a really good experience. It had like step-by-step photo instructions with the written instructions, so you knew exactly which diagram went with which step. It was also a really affordable pattern. It was like, it's from a designer in the UK, so I think it was like £1.50, so it was like a little over $2. But yeah, it was really quick. It worked up super easily. I did use safety eyes and a nose for mine instead of like embroidering on the face. I just like the safety eye look. The only thing I'll say about that is I bought a huge set of safety eyes off of Amazon because I kind of panicked and forgot about it till like 2 days before the party, and I could not find them in any craft store around here. But yeah, the set that I got off of Amazon, the backs, like half of the backs don't fit them, and I was like, this is what I get for buying last minute junk off of Amazon. But anyway, it all turned out okay. Nico really liked it. I meant to take a picture of him with it, but he wasn't really feeling it at the end of his birthday party, which is okay. Oh, hello, sir. Oliver has decided to grace y'all with his presence. So let's see, where are we? I do have one more finished object to share with you guys, so let me get resituated here. The next finished object that I have here are some jelly roll socks. About to hit myself in the face there. I did not intend to make jelly roll socks when I started these. I just wanted some toe up shorties. But as I was going along, I just decided to bind off and let them curl to be like the jelly roll pattern. And I did an afterthought heel on these. This is yarn from Malia Made It in the Acid Rainbow colorway. I absolutely love this self-striping yarn. I've talked before about how I do not dye self-striping yarn. It is way too much math and work, and you need all kinds of equipment for it. So I appreciate all of the indie dyers out there who are dyeing self-striping yarn, and I will happily buy it from you guys. But anyway, I used some leftover. This is also from Spectrum Fibre. I'm sorry. He has started this new thing where, I don't know if y'all can see, he likes to like nip at our hands when he wants attention, which is fine because he's like missing all but 3 teeth, but it's really just... Did you guys see that munch? I don't know if you caught it, but he just like tried to eat my yarn. Anyway, this is from Spectrum Fibre. This is the same sock base that I showed you guys earlier. I believe the colorway is called Trick or Treat. It was one of her Halloween colorways that I picked up. I suppose it was around October of last year. But I used this in my Seaglass tee. It was one of the ones that I regularly alternated with. So yeah, I used it for the heels on this pair of socks. I just thought that that purple was kind of the perfect complement there. So I love that self-striping yarn so much that I went on ahead and started a second pair so that I can use up every last scrap of this yarn. I actually have one extra repeat past what I did in these socks. So when there was 3 repeats of the colorway, I have 4 remaining. I think what I'm going to do is for this pair, once I hit this point, once it starts the last repeat of the yarn, I think I'm going to do ribbing. Maybe not like the full 6 colors, but like maybe like 3 of the colors. I'll start doing the ribbing and have like a longer pair of shorty socks with a ribbed cuff. And I'll use the same contrast yarn for the heels. I'll do another afterthought heel. Maybe I'll try a short row heel from toe up. I don't think I've done a short row heel toe up. I think I've done them all top down, but I don't really see how it would make a difference since it's like, yeah, I don't think it would make a difference. But anyway, maybe just change it up and try something different. So this has been kind of my travel knitting, car knitting, watching TV in the evening knitting. That's the other thing that I'm getting ready to show you guys. Since I finished the Seaglass tee, I have not had much motivation. That's not true. I've wanted to knit. I just don't know what I want to knit right now. So I'm really kind of focusing on clearing out old whips and trying to simplify my life a little bit as far as that goes. Like I said, I've been dyeing a lot of yarn. I'm in the middle of advent calendar dyeing right now, so there's a lot of evenings where I just sit down and I twist mini skeins all night, and I'm like, I would have really liked to knit, but I just don't have the brain space for it. I have been doing a lot of spinning, and we'll get to that in a minute also. But yeah, I don't know. I want to knit, but I don't know what I want to knit is my problem. Does anybody else have that problem? What do you do when you have that problem? Let me know. Once I finish up this second pair of socks, I like to always have a pair of socks on the needles. It's just my thing. It's my go-to when I can't decide what I want to knit. I like having them for travel knitting, and we are doing a lot more driving and going places here lately. So I think I showed you guys the finished skein last time. This is some hand spun that I did from a braid from Wound Up Fiber Art. So this was the Nest Egg colorway. I really love how this worked up, and I will be casting on another pair of socks with this. This will make the third pair of hand spun socks, well, fourth, but the third in this. It's a 75 superwash. It's either 75 or 80% superwash merino, 20 or 25% nylon blend. So I'm kind of holding back all of the like leftover 20 or 30 grams that I have with all of my little hand spun bits, and I will either use them in my crochet northeasterly blanket, or I will make a scrappy hand spun pair of socks. The problem with that is they're all slightly different weights. Like this one came out a lot thinner than the last one, but that's okay. So this is in my future. I guess that leads me to my last final whip, for knitting at least. Can we call spinning whips if they're like mid-spin? So I just talked about how I'm trying to, you know, clear out some of my project bags, my whips that are all kind of hanging around. And I pulled out my Cozy Classic Light. That's by Jessie Martinson. This is in one of my colorways from last year's advent calendars called Woman at the Loom. And as you can tell, I have finished knitting the body. I did the bind off a couple days ago. I did do a tubular bind off as it calls for here at the bottom. Yeah, the tubular bind off is quite a lot of work, but I gotta say, I'm coming around to it. I know that I have trashed it a lot in the past. I know Naomi and I still differ on that opinion, but I really love how this turned out. I love this colorway so much. All I need to do now is get these sleeves done, and I will have a lovely lightweight raglan garment. So yeah, I've got two progress keepers on here. I think the last time I recorded, I was here on body. But then when I picked it back up again, like a week ago, I stuck that one in just for my own kind of reference. So I think this pattern, if I remember correctly, this pattern calls for kind of a short body. I think it has a cropped and then like a classic length. I opted to go straight with no waist shaping either, but even the classic length was kind of short to me. Like I think it was like maybe 11 inches for the size that I was knitting. But I went all the way to 12 inches and then did 2 inches of ribbing past that, because I kind of like my raglans to be a little bit longer, so that they'll fall and hit me like mid hip length, because you know, I'll probably wear this with leggings and things, and I want a little bit of booty coverage, but not too much. Anyway, yes, so I'm really pleased with how this turned out. I'm kind of ready to get onto Sleeve Island and knock these things out and have another finished object. So yeah, this is what my knitting has been. Like basic stockinette is kind of where I have been at with knitting. Like I said though, I am kind of looking for something to spice up my knitting. I'm not sure what that is. I feel a shawl coming on in my future. I don't know. I have a few ideas brewing in the back of my head. So while I have this out, I just wanted to hit on something real quick. I think I'm kind of crazy because I kind of want to just knit another Cozy Classic, because I have a sweater's quantity of this colorway from Kindred Red. It's the crystalline colorway, or crystalline. It's so pretty, but it's so busy, and I don't really know what else I would make besides another Cozy Classic Light. So if you have any pattern suggestions, let me know. I have a couple more skeins of this. That's how much I love this colorway. I know it's going to be busy and not something like super subtle. It's not going to be something that would like show off cables or lace really well. I really want the colors to be the star of the show there. Give me a suggestion for something other than another cozy classic like, because otherwise that's what this is going to be. All right, let's talk spinning. So I have been doing a fair amount of spinning lately. So aside from my stockinette knitting, spinning has really been the thing that I sit down in the evenings, and it's just easy for me to kind of shut my mind off. And especially with having the electric wheel, I purchased the electric eel 6 that came out a few months ago. Yeah, it's just been really nice to sit down and, you know, just let my hands do the work and my brain doesn't have to do much. So the first thing that I wanted to share with you guys is the BFL silk blend that I was working on the last episode. This is just in a natural colorway, and I think it was like an 85-15 blend, 85 BFL, 15% silk. So it's a non-super wash. And I think I have decided that I'm going to dye this. So I haven't set the twist because I am planning on dyeing this. So it's still kind of wavy and got some curlicues. But this turned out really, really beautiful. It spun up super fine. This is a 3-ply, and I wound up with 500 yards. And I've been thinking, as far as dyeing goes, what was I watching the other day? I think I was watching, Fibre Love Diary, and she mentioned something about how dye strikes on silk really quickly. She was opening up, one of her monthly boxes. So since this has some silk, the idea kind of came to me to play around with one of my dye colors that strikes really quickly and tends to break. So what that means is some of the dyes are made of 2 different colors. So there's one called Purple Pop, and it's really notorious because it's like a bright magenta pink, but it also has purple dye in it. So like when you speckle with it, you'll get purple and pink speckles. Or so when you're actually like dyeing for a solid, or, you know, for full coverage or a tonal or whatever, breaking means intentionally trying to get 2 separate shades out of like one dye bath. To try to get pink and purple on different parts of the skein. So my thinking is maybe I'll play with one of those dyes that I know does that. Maybe I'll intentionally try to get the silk to soak up one of the colors first, or get it to strike really quickly, and then the BFL, since it's this kind of natural gray shade, it's already going to have like a deeper tone to it, but I think that could be a really interesting way to dye this up. I've not dyed anything after the fact when I have spun it, so that's another kind of fun little experiment to take on. When I was spinning the singles, I really enjoyed the natural shades, and there was still some like color variation in it, but I feel like once I applied them all together, it kind of took on a very like, it's not really flat, but it's just kind of a monotone look, and I think dyeing it will really bring this to life. So maybe I need to do another dye along vlog or something and show y'all how this works out. So once I finished that BFL skein, I decided it was time to simultaneously get some fiber out of my stash and try to get one of my garments that I have been planning on making for a long time going. Not quite there yet, but we're getting there. So I want to make the Tecumseh by Caitlin Hunter, Boylan Knitworks, and I picked up a sweater's quantity of nightshades last year when we went. It was right before everything shut down for the pandemic. It was supposed to be the Carolina Fibre Festival in Raleigh. That got shut down like hours before the event was supposed to start. So we did our own little impromptu yarn crawl around the Raleigh area. And I want to say I got this in Apex Downtown Knits, I think is the name of the store. But this is Nightshades by Harrisville Yarn Designs. The colorway is called Last Call. It's a DK weight yarn. It is cormo and wool, and it is woolen spun. So yeah, I want this to be the main body color of a Tecumseh, and I have started spinning for the contrast color. So the pattern actually calls for 2 contrast colors, one for like the plus symbols or whatever, and then there's like a kind of like a leaf motif or something underneath it. That's the second colorway. My plan, to kind of simplify it a little bit, is to make a fractal spun so that I'll naturally get some color changes, but it's just one less thing that I have to deal with as far as not doing 2 different colorways. So earlier this year or last year, I don't remember, I picked up some more fiber from Apothecary, and this is Rambouillet. Now, she did not put the colorways on here. It's US grown Rambouillet 21 micron milled top. I ordered 2 braids of the same colorway. When I went back and looked on my order from her, I thought I got the color Moonbeam. But then I went back on her website, and when I opened up my braids, they were kind of different and they look like 2 different colorways. So I don't know what happened there. It's not a huge problem because they were very, very similar. So I spun up all of one braid. This one has very similar colors to this one. Let me see if I can get it opened up and show you what I'm talking about. The first one had really long color repeats. So this like blue and gray and kind of maroon or eggplanty color, purpley color. And yeah, so they would be like this long stretches of color in the braid. This one has some like shades of gold in there that was not on the first one, and they're a little bit shorter color repeats, a little more kind of melty. There's a little bit more like white spaces on this one, kind of pretty aubergine purpley color. So yeah, other than the goldish brown spots, they were pretty close to each other. So again, I don't know if I happen to get 2 different colorways by accident or what. I don't really care. So what I did for the first one, since it had those long color repeats, I spun the whole braid end to end. And I did a semi-woolen spin, so I just wasn't really super worried about pinching out the air. I still kind of, did a short forward draw, but again, not really worried about pinching out the air. So this is 4 ounces, but it filled up a full 8-ounce bobbin. So that's how much air is still left and trapped in this yarn. So for this one, to get that fractal effect, I'll just go ahead and strip it all the way down from end to end. I don't know how many pieces I'll make, probably like 6 or 8 of them. So this will provide my shorter color repeats. So when I apply that together, I will get kind of that soft gradient effect. So I kind of wanted to wait until I showed you guys this second braid and kind of the difference in them before I jumped right into this. I'm kind of saving this for one of my goals for Tour de Fleece, is to finish this whole spin. I'll get into Tour de Fleece in a second. So it'll be a very dark, kind of moody project altogether. I am hoping that there's enough contrast in this with the nightshades. I think there will be, holding them up together and looking at them here. And once it gets plied with this kind of lighter braid. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to starting this. So I guess maybe I don't need to fret about what I'm going to cast on next. So I need to get my Tecumseh started. I've wanted to knit that pattern for years, and I actually bought yarn a couple years ago at the first SAF that I went to, and it sat in my stash, and I just kind of fell out of love with it when I got home. And I've always thought that it would make a really nice, I always thought that hand spun would make a really nice kind of contrast color for that pattern. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to diving into this project more fully. So Tour de Fleece, this is my first year doing it. I haven't really joined any actual groups or anything. I don't know. I'm just going to do like some own personal challenges to myself. Naomi and I have entered a little informal challenge with Gemma of the Gemma B Makes podcast. She is our sister across the pond, our spinning sister. I think she's going to kick our butts. That's my prediction here, because I feel like every time I turn around, she is just like spun so much yarn. So anyway, aside from finishing my rainbow lace spin, I want to spin up this braid, also from Wound Up Fiber Arts. It's called All Hollywood. It's her sock base, 90% superwash, 10% nylon blend. But I saw this braid on her site a few weeks ago, and I fell in love with this electric purple. I think it would make a really gorgeous sock yarn. Shocker. So that is also on my to be spun goals. Originally, I had wanted to sit down and spin all of my yarn for my dream cable pullover. I am going to attempt, I'm thinking at least half of it, because that's a pound of fiber. So for those of you who don't know, Tour de Fleece is just kind of a personal challenge. I know there are teams. I know that people join teams or make teams, and you're just kind of trying to challenge yourself, see how much you can spin every day or throughout the whole thing. So I started making some Rolegs. This is out of the second pound of fiber that I ordered. I'm sorry for all the crinkling. This is just a light gray comb top, 10% black sheep wool, 90% mountain merino wool, grown in Wyoming. Last year when my parents were out west, they brought Naomi and I back some fiber, and one of them was a pound. Naomi and I each got a pound each of Rambouillet, and it's a light gray color. It's ever so slightly different from this. I thought I was getting the same thing on their website, but I don't care. It's fine. I think what I'm going to do is ply them together. So it'll be a very, very mild marled effect. It occurred to me after I started making the Rolegs on my blending board that I could have just blended them together, but I've already, made all of those. Yeah, I don't have the other bag of fiber up here, but back in January, I got an Etsy gift card for my birthday. So I purchased a blending board a few months ago, and I really haven't played with it a whole lot. And I know this isn't super exciting for a blending board, just to make plain old Rolegs. I haven't blended anything necessarily. But I wanted a semi-woolen spun yarn for that as well. So I plan on spinning these on my Ladybug, because I like spinning woolen yarns on my Ladybug better than on my electric gill wheel. My e-wheel I will save for the sock spin and for doing the second half of this one, since it was kind of a semi-woolen. That's what I spun this on, was on the e-wheel. So I'll have both wheels going. I guess what I'll need to do then is blend up some of the other bag of fiber that I have, so I have them to ply together when it's all said and done. But yeah, I'm really enjoying spinning yarn for projects that I'm actually gonna knit up. I don't know. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun to take it through the entire process. It makes me feel really accomplished and hands-on. So I think that is it. That is everything that I have to share with you guys. Again, I have been dyeing up lots of yarn. I've been putting stuff in the shop kind of periodically. I have a few new things that I'll be putting on Instagram before I put them in the shop. Advent calendars are now available. I have 10-gram sets. They will be 24 10-gram minis, and you'll get little extra goodies in there, like maybe some stitch markers and some tea bags and things like that. The 20-gram sets will be 24 minis and a 100-gram skein for the 25th day. And again, all the extras come with that as well. So I'll leave links to the Etsy shop down below. I'm also working on some other little mini sets. I didn't intend to, but I kind of misdyed some things last week. So I put them aside and I continued doing my Advent dyeing, and then I had an idea. So I think I'm going to save them for like some Halloween sets. If I can get them out in time for that. Hopefully in the next like month or two, I'll have some time to do some extra dyeing. So let's go ahead and give away some yarn. I'm going to make this really, really simple. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me what either the best or the worst piece of knitting or making advice that you have ever gotten. Crochet, spinning, weaving, whatever. I am here for some good and some bad information. Yeah, just leave me a comment down below with that information. I will pick a winner from random comment generator, and I will post the winner in my next video, which will probably be in a couple of weeks, depending on what I get through between now and then. So yeah, if you are interested in winning this yarn, go ahead and leave me a comment down below with that information. And yeah, I don't think I have anything else. So thank you guys so much for joining me today, and for all the other past videos that you have watched. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff is really helpful to the channel. It's been so much fun to watch everything grow here. I really love all of the friends that I'm making, you know, via this channel and all my other social media outlets. And I think that about does it. I don't really have any other interesting life stuff to add. We've been kind of all over the place for some birthday parties and things lately. So Jason took some drone footage of a waterfall that we saw. I'll put that at the end if you guys want to see that. Yeah, I'm just rambling now. So I hope that you guys are happy and healthy and enjoying all of your yarny, crafty things. And I will see you guys again soon. Bye.